Hello out there, all my viewers and subscribers. I want to thank all of you for watching my channel. I've been wanting to do that for a while now, and thank all of you for subscribing and checking out my record collection. As you can see behind me, this is all my house music and trance. I had one viewer ask me, do I have any house records? Well, there you go. There's 3 sections that are 5 feet long of when I was a rave DJ in San Francisco and got to fly out to other states. Behind the camera is all of my 80s. And I'm going to be doing something different for this video here. This is going to be focused more on something different than my usual new wave and synth pop records, Duran Duran and Italo and Euro disco records that I've been doing. This one's going to focus on something much more darker, and that is a combination of, we're going to be doing Darkwave, goth rock, downtempo, trip hop, acid jazz, and more of that ethereal stuff. And what I mean by that is like Cocteau Twins. I'm going to be getting into some Clan of Zymox, Massive Attack, Mazzy Star. What else do we have? Moby and stuff like that. So before we get started here, not too long of an intro. I notice on some of my videos I have too long of an introduction. We want to get to seeing the records, right? And that's why you came here. But before we get started here, what I would like from my viewers is if you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It does help support it, and I will get future videos out to you as soon as I make them and publish them. Also, hit the like button. That supports the channel as well. Hit the notifications, and you'll get my recent videos when they are done. But most of all, I like hearing your comments. Drop me a few words if you like, or a couple of paragraphs of what you think of what I am showing here. And if I'm not looking directly into the camera, I'm not quite sure where the lens is on this new cell phone that I got. So if it looks like I'm sort of drifting off a little bit, well, then that's just the view. We're going to go ahead and start with these 3 first albums of 3 guys from Bristol, England. In 1989, they came out with this first album here, a combination of, I guess, trip hop beats, female vocals, and I like to describe their sound as whisper rhyming. It's very, you want to talk about chill out. It doesn't get more chill than this. Just really laid back, chill rhyming. And the first song is a great bass line in it. It's called Safe from Harm. Beautiful song that's done. Way ahead of their time on this album. And then later on is Unfinished Sympathy. The whole video is done in one shot, and it even has the clanging of a hotel clerk bell throughout it. Funky beats. It doesn't get any better than starting off the trip hop era than with this first album right here, Massive Attack, Blue Lines. And the track Blue Lines is very long. I'm not sure what these guys are talking about. I can't really quite understand them, and it's not the accent, of course, at all, but it's the stuff that they are saying. But whatever it is, they're making it sound so awesome. And all of their songs, when they do that laid-back rhyming that they do, I wouldn't consider it rap at all. Rap to me is more hip-hop. I know rap means just talking, but these guys are a little bit different, and what they say is just pretty awesome. And here's the back of it here. The original 3 members, sorry about the glare, I got a bright light going on here. These 2 guys are still together with the group, and I think it's just those 2 now. But each album that they come out with has a featured female vocal singer. On this one here, I don't remember what the 2 girls are. One on Safe from Harm, the other one on Unfinished Sympathy. But that's the first one right here that I'm showing is Massive Attack, Blue Lines. If you are unfamiliar with Massive Attack, we better get you caught up. Get these first 3 albums that I am showing to you, because the next one I'm about to show you has been listed and termed as one of the top 100 albums to listen to before we pass away. That's how good this next album is. And if you're familiar with Massive Attack, you know what I'm showing here. This one here is Protection. It starts off with the lead song, Protection, and the feature vocalist is Tracy Thorn from Everything But the Girl. You might remember their song, and that is I'm Missing You, Like the Deserts Miss the Rain, their famous song, They're Missing. This one starts off mellow with a really nice stringed instrument in it. It's perfect for rain or for sunshine. To me, this was walking the streets of San Francisco, whether it was day or night. Their first 3 albums, Massive Attack, is perfect for that inner city cruising around. But then you get into Karma Coma, Jamaica Aroma, Karma Coma. That's their next track here. Kind of a darker reggae feel to it, heavy on the bass line. And you sure you want to be with me? I've nothing to give. Don't lie and say this love is best. It's that kind of rhyming that they do. Then you got, Euro Child. That's where they bring in Tricky, their other featured vocalist, with his rhyming. Hell is round the corner where a shelter is isms and schisms, stuff like that. But it's very dark, very smooth, very flowing. And then we have Sly. That's the featured voice of Nicolette, that velvet voice that she has. She is from 1,000 years ago in the song, of course, and she knows even her children's names and voices, and it has bells in the background. They make great use of the violins and the whole string section here by guest Craig Armstrong, especially in Weatherstorm. Great bass line. In fact, this album here has a lot of fusion of dub and that reggae feel to just laid back, kickback beats. So, and then you have Heatmiser. Great clap, great slow beats with piano and strings. You've got to get this album. If you've never heard it before, put this on the top of your list of any record that I ever show. Massive Attack, Protection. Their third album here. So when I was living in San Francisco, we went to Tower Records. It was on the end of Columbus Street. And me and my buddy, who had this really cool antique store, not open to the public, but it had just the most awesome things in it. We were looking for what Massive Attack might have out. And we found this new cassette that they had. This was about 1998, maybe 1999. I had my Camaro. And I bought it, not even knowing what it sounded like. And it's this one right here. Oops, there's the glare. Massive Attack's Mezzanine. Now, they totally went a different direction here than the first two albums, and they went a lot darker on this. One of the tracks on here was featured in The Matrix when Neo is asleep with his headphones on, and I forgot the song that's playing, but it's when the computer says, "Wake up, Neo," and that's on the Matrix soundtrack. So we popped this in the cassette, and the first song is Angel. Then the next song is Black Milk. Starts off with a haunting piano sound and this sort of gruesome, ghostly, eerie crying in the background. Then the bass line kicks in. And let me tell you, watch your speakers on this. You can blow them easily. I don't know how they did it, but the bass line is so deep. And then it just cracks right into the bass line. And the chime that you're hearing in the background, if you're familiar with Black Milk, is from Manfred Mann's Earth Band, and a song called Tribute from the late 70s, very dark instrumental. They used that in Black Milk. Now, the featured guest vocalist they have on this is none other than Liz Fraser from Cocteau Twins, who I have described her voice in other videos as like fairies flying out of a forest. A beautiful woman on white horseback in the woods, that kind of thing. And if you ever hear Cocteau Twins stuff, her voice, the falsettos that she can do, I think she's just very underrated. They put her on this. And then the other song, too, is Teardrop, another great one. When you first start hearing the intro on that, I can't wait to go see these guys. And I don't know if she's going to be appearing, but just to see Massive Attack, you've got to get this. So what we're talking about here is these first three albums. All right, the ones I just showed. I got these in mint condition, perfect. You've got to get them. Going to a little bit direction here, a different direction, still England, but this was named after, I believe, an area in England, and they are called Portishead. They have a combination of striking, chill breakbeats with stringed instruments, but also a combination with what sounds like music from sci-fi films from the 50s. Kind of eerie sounds, even a little bit of scratch turntable work. But her voice is so melancholic. It's nothing like Liz Fraser from Cocteau Twins. Hers almost sounds like she's on the edge of tears and almost like she's cold and really reaching out. I don't remember her name, but it's this right here. Portishead. I think this was their first one, and I'll show. No, I didn't take out the second one. It's back there. I'm not showing you everything at once. This video is going to be cut up into different parts. This down-tempo, dark wave, goth rock, acid jazz, trip hop, and ethereal. So behind the camera is all the rest of it. I'm going to show you just this nice stack. Portishead. If you get Massive Attack's albums, add this one to it. How I found this was walking the streets of San Francisco late at night. That's what I used to do. I had my headphones with me. I don't think I even had anything to play at the time. Strangely, I'm sitting down on the balcony of this building, and next to me is this cassette. Didn't even know what it was. I popped it in my cassette player that I had at the time. This is way before iPods and all that stuff, and MP3s. Popped it in and couldn't believe how this fit the San Francisco nighttime streets and the buildings and all that. So if you want something that's great for the late night, perfect right here. And the other album too, which I'll show later. This is going back to about 1985. I had to fit this one in there because, well, it's just so fitting. I got this one with the OBI around it. This is an OBI wrap. This is like Japan's version of a usual hype sticker. But this OBI doesn't tell anything about the album. I just had to have this one. This is, I think his name was Steve Morris of New Order. But this had the Perfect Kiss on it. The one that I liked mostly on this is Subculture. Wow, the remix of it is terrible. Don't get it. Get the one that's on this. The song is called Subculture. And this whole thing is excellent, this album. I remember riding my bike and exchanging some records just to get this thing. So I had to fit that one into this video. Oh, there's Jillian Gilbert on the back. One of my favorite bands, pretty much the founders of Darkwave. Can you guess who they are? Ronnie Mornings, and I think they're from the Netherlands. Not quite sure. I think they're from the Netherlands. When I saw them in 2018, boy, were they loud. They were at DNA Lounge. Very epic, a cross between guitars, bass line, a lot of electronics and synthesizer work, and especially strings. They have so many records out, and I got to meet them just right off the stage. They were just signing records, and the other one I'll be showing later, it's got Ronnie's signature and the tickets on the back. So I got to meet him. But this one here is Twist of Shadows, and has Obsession. One of their best songs they've ever done is Obsession, somewhere around, I think, 1987. But this one, and I've been collecting Zymox records that are on colored. I especially love colored vinyl. If you know me well in my videos, I love colored vinyl. I love bootlegs too. It's just somebody's genius custom work, especially if the production is done really nice with great quality and especially sound. But here's an official release that is on red. Now, I had somebody get after me for touching my records. Listen, I don't ever play my records. I don't have time to. I just collect them. And plus, if I handle them on the edge, yeah, whatever. But I won't take them out. I'll just show them to you. This was on this beautiful translucent red. Love it. Twist of Shadows, Clan of Zymox. Next one here is also Clan of Zymox. And this is sort of their cover versions album that they did. One of the best that they did on here is Depeche Mode's Question of Time. I love Depeche Mode's version. I loved it when it was on that Black Celebration album. Play that thing loud and crank it up. But when you get into Zymox's version, it's more of just cracking hard and heavy, just banging. Especially when he says, I've got to get to you first, and it just starts hitting before they do. It's just a question of time. And so here is the backside of it. Look how cool they look. Oh, wow. I wish she was still in the group. And he's such a cool guy to talk to. What a great vocalist. And so there's that one there. There is also on here their cover version of The Cure, A Forest. But then, yes, Alice. They did a cover version of Sisters of Mercy, Alice. It's very close to Sisters of Mercy sound. I don't think that Ronnie Mornings sounds like the singer of Sisters of Mercy. I think they're quite different. But he certainly does a really good job on this one here. Gotta love Sisters of Mercy. Wow. I'll show you them later. Here is a guy that used to be a rave DJ. He has the fastest song ever made. It is in the Guinness Book of World Record called 1000. It is 1 hard banging beat that starts off slow and then reaches 1,000 beats in 1 minute, with a woman screaming, "Oh yeah," and then "Oh yeah," and it gets looped over and over. He toned things down when he came out with Nix's the E, still a little bit more techno-y, but then he really brought things down with this album called Play, where he has sampled, I think it's Baptist choir, such as "Why Does My Heart Feel So Bad?" And on the album 18 is from the same song. I think it's called He Will, something about your burdens. It's a Baptist song from the 50s. But he sampled from that original recording from back in the 50s, and it's a beautiful recording. On 18 is called I'm Not Worried. It's from the same track. But that's this one right here, Moby Play. A few songs on here just really remind me of the rainy days and nights in San Francisco. Some of my worst times I've ever spent. This album got me through it. If the Sky is Broken, and let's see, Porcelain. Oh, Porcelain, yeah. He actually took a soundtrack and reversed it. I think it's called Exodus from the 60s, reversed it and came up with Porcelain. And then you have Vera Hall, and where she says, "Lordy, I've troubled so hard. Don't nobody know my troubles but God." You know, that one is called Natural Blues. But this one is on this beautiful blue. I had to get it. It was almost $100 for this sucker right here. I had to have it. Thank you, Moby, for putting out what you do. You have done something very special. Oh, and in the end track on this, My Weakness, is taken from some kind of African chant or African singing. It's a language that doesn't exist anymore, from what I've read. In fact, all throughout this record, it's all sampled from beats. He did really well. But the last song in here, My Weakness, it sounds like they're saying, "This is my weakness, so I've endured." You got to hear it. You hear sounds in the background throughout this whole album from the sampling he did. Just voices, kind of strange things, water pouring, whispering. Brilliant album. These guys now are from the country Turkey, and all of their lyrics are in Turkish, and I think it's not songs, it's just poems. That's what it is. All their poems are in the Turkish language. And I'm going to be going to see these guys December 10th, so if you're watching this video before December 10th, 2021, I haven't seen them yet. They are called She Passed Away, these two guys. The song that I love on here, is it on this one here? Look them up on YouTube. Type in She Passed Away and look for the video that is in black and white. They're sort of performing live. There's 3 of them. They have captured the sound of Sisters of Mercy meets Bauhaus. His voice is really deep. This is some very dark stuff, crossed between bass, guitars, and drums, and his deep voice. I don't think there's anybody else out there like this. But his voice normally in an interview is rather high. He just makes up that voice in the songs. Because to hear him speaking in their original language is very different. But on their albums, it's very deep. So look up She Passed Away. Now let's take She Passed Away, cross with Clan of Zymox. And we have another band here that I had to have. You've got to get this. The song is called Terror. It was all in my mind. It is all in my mind. Get out of my mind. Upbeat track, probably about 124. Guitars, synthesizers, strings. Beautiful. And they are called in letter form. Fracture, Repeat, Repair, Repeat. But it is this album right here. I think they even played live in Oakland on that song Terror. But look up in letter form, Terror. You'll see what I mean. If you like Clan of Zymox, Sisters of Mercy, She Passed Away, you'll want to get this. Oh, yes, here we go. This was the name of the group, and I think her name is Sandoval, something, Hope Sandoval. She did a song with Massive Attack. I forgot the name of it. The record is $1,700 on Discogs. Absolutely ridiculous, but it's that rare. That is one of the darkest songs I've ever heard done by a duo. Hard to get, boy. But these guys are called Mazzy Star, So Tonight That I Might See. And she had that beautiful song, Fade Into You. What a voice. But as this song, as this album goes throughout the song titles, it gets into the last track on one of them. I think it's So Tonight That I Might See. It almost reminds me of an up-and-coming psychedelic hippie band from the 60s, somewhere on Haight, maybe in the Ashbury area. It's long, and it sounds like The Doors. This is the end, where she's even talking, and it's got guitars. Get this, look up the whole album. It even has Five String Serenade and Blue Light, Into Dust. All of this is one of those albums like all the other ones I've been showing to you. The whole thing is great. So Mazzy Star, I think one of the members has passed away. I'm not sure on that. So the band is disbanded. I think all that's right. Now I mentioned to you before about these guys. See the face here? This is the girl in the band. And I don't know his name, but boy, what a voice he has. The big song on this back in 1986, I think it was Hey Now, Now. He sang This Corrosion to Me. What a great song. It's got an angelic choir in it. It's a post-apocalyptic scene in the video. Lots of water and steel. He's wearing his leather jacket, aviator glasses, and long hair in his face. A lot of water dripping. But we also have on here Lucretia. You got to look up that one. And also Dominion. So great album here by Sisters of Mercy. I also love their song Alice. And a few other ones by them as well. Okay, let's get into what I would consider music from the Middle Ages, like maybe the Castle days, because this is a brother and sister team. I think they are masters in music, and they have music done on big drums, guitars, harpsichords. I think they hammered dulcimer. Her voice sounds like she's singing in the Indian language, and his voice is just beautiful and perfect to listen to. Talk about the both of them together, and it is these guys here. Do you know it by the cover? They're called Dead Can Dance, and they've done many albums. In fact, they did the soundtrack theme to Gladiator. This is not your typical goth rock or dark wave. I'm not sure how you'd classify this other than maybe music from the Castle era. And what we have on here is Cantera. It starts off with just a very slow stringed instrument, and then it gets into two drummers banging on drums, and it gets really kicking up there, and then her voice comes in like something out of India. It's just intense. But the one song that stood out to me was Dawn of the Iconoclast. Her voice, when she says Sun Daddy, I don't know what she's saying, but it's used in the Future Sound of London in their song called Papua New Guinea. That's the voice in that is from this Dawn of the Iconoclast. So look that up. But be careful with your speakers because they're loud. Okay. This video is going further than 20 minutes. That's okay. You want to keep seeing what I got here? I want to finish with this stack. The Garlands, Cocteau Twins. Usually their stuff is just beautiful, serenity, ethereal, heavenly, that beautiful dreamy sound. This one's not. This one has an electronic drum machine that's in it. A little bit much more darker on this one, especially Wax and Wayne. The devil was telling you Wax and Wayne. And just briefly, I found out about this when I was in a friend's creepy apartment. It was raining outside. He had all this creepy wall art from his antique store. And he popped in this CD. And I thought, what is this? Never heard of them before. And he played this whole thing. So this one is much darker than original Cocteau Twins that you're used to if you're familiar with them. Get this one called Garlands. So if you get used to them, then you can look up more like Treasure. And let's see, do I have more in here? No, I just picked out one. Look up Bluebell Knoll. I'll be showing you that later. I have much more Cocteau Twins back there. On Discogs, this record has been termed as the first of its kind. 1979. This comes out. It's music about a vampire. Has a bossa nova beat, simple bass line chords. I don't know what they are. Just up, down, and then down. Up, down, and then down. And then the guitar comes in. white on white, translucent black capes. Bela Lugosi's dead. And I had to have this one here. It had to be put into this video here. I just love it. The Bats Have Left, the Bell Tower. I don't think there's anybody like Peter Murphy's voice. I mean, you can have Clan of Zymox and Sisters of Mercy. She passed away. Is there really anybody else other than Peter Murphy that sounds like this on this? They also did She's in Parties. There's another one that they did as a copy of Bowie. He kind of sounds like David Bowie. I think maybe that was his aim. But I think he sounds more like just being himself. Have you ever heard of Throbbing Gristle? They were back in the 70s, 4-piece band. 2 of the band members split off and they started doing what they ended up becoming, I think, are the founders and the pioneers, not of electronic music. I would shoot that more towards Kraftwerk and Tangerine Dream. But 2 members here sort of founded the sound of industrial meets experimental and electronica. And it would be these 2 right here, Chris and Cozy. We're talking about Chris Carter and Cozy Fanituti. Her voice is deep. I never really hear him much, but it was more focused on her voice. It's deep, her voice. And I used to write letters to her back in 1987 when I was in high school. She would handwrite letters to me. And I wish I still had them. Saw them at the I-Beam on Haight Street before that burned up and turned into apartments, like everything else does. But this one's called Reflections, and kind of a greatest, I don't like to say greatest hits, you know me, greatest, I don't like the word greatest hits. Let's just say a greatest of a compilation here. They have Driving Blind, Tantalize, Stolen Kisses, Hazy Days. They have another album too that is this one, Techno Primitive, Songs of Love and Lust, and Trance, Heartbeat. I would get all of those and get caught up with Chris and Cozy. They have this one here. There's Chris Carter and there's Cozy Fanituti. This is called Sweet Surprise, and there's 2 guest singers. So this is Dave, I always forget his name, not David Ball, but it's Annie Lennox. What's his name? Dave is something from Eurythmics. She has her voice on here as well as Cozy Fanituti, and this is called Sweet Surprise. Great song. It's slower than their usual stuff. I hate stickers. This is back when I was buying stuff off of Discogs, not paying attention to SOC, sticker on cover. If you're buying from Discogs, pay attention to the condition. SOL, sticker on label. SOC, sticker on cover. There's a lot of condition letters that you got to look for when you're buying on Discogs to make sure that this doesn't happen. I hate it, but I'm not going to get rid of the records, so I'm going to do this. There we go, Chris and Cozy, and this one's called Obsession, an upbeat electro, great track from, I think, 1987? I don't know. Yeah, something like that. It's on Network Records. They used to be on Rough Trade, and they ended up on Network, which I believe is out of Canada. I had to put this in there. Who's watching this show on Netflix? A series, boy gets dragged into the underworld by a creature that was opened up by an 11-year-old girl. And I think that's her age, but she's called 11. And I was just hooked on it. And so there's part of the show, and what we're talking about is Stranger Things. This soundtrack is stuff from the 80s because the show is set in 1984. And the track that I love on this mostly is, well, it would have to be Joy Division, Atmosphere, for this video that I'm putting out here, and New Order, Elegia, and then we also have Joy Division, Love Will Tear Us Apart. But, we also have The Clash, Should I Stay or Should I Go? But mostly what's on the soundtrack, Joy Division, Atmosphere, and New Order's Elegia. So I had to put Stranger Things in here. What else do we got? A couple more here. Trip hop. How would you describe trip hop? I would just describe it as just melodic, beautiful sounds, maybe even acid jazz, but with broken beats. So it's not quite hip hop. It is trip hop. And I think it was invented by Massive Attack. Many people just followed. So I had to get this one right here. It is a gatefold. I'm not going to take it out and open it up, but this is trip hop from outer space. Great tracks on this one here. I don't know which ones stand out to me the most. I think I just love the whole thing, but I love the cover with the zebras in the desert. Triphop from Outer Space, the Sound of Infinity. I showed you, no, I'm not going to talk about those for a moment here. I'm going to focus on this group right here. They are huge, really up and coming. They got a lot of records out, and their releases, they do a lot of different colored vinyl. We're talking like purple and white splatter, blood red and white splatter, or orange or solid blue. There's all these different colored vinyls. It gets expensive trying to collect all this stuff. So I grabbed this one here on pink, and they are called Boy Harsher. Two-person duo here. Very electronica. I would say that they are the next Chris and Kosi. Chris and Kosi that I showed you earlier, if you like them, if you heard of them, or if you're getting to know them, get these guys right here, Boy Harsher. The one that I love on this is called Motion. But the whole thing is great, and I got this one on pink. But they have another one, I'll show it later. It's called Pain. And it's about 122. But it starts off with this bouncing synth riff, and then the beat just kicks in. And it's got all kinds of sounds throughout it, and her voice is deep and beautiful. There's another group, Seanwald, that I'll be showing you later. It is on green vinyl. I had to throw that one out there. But it is just perfect as far as ethereal, that heavenly, dreamlike state. I'll be showing you in another video just to whet your appetite. There's a whole another stack behind this camera right here that I got to show you, some Razormaid stuff and more. She passed away in Zymox. Now, I talked a moment ago about Massive Attack. You want something that has all kinds of echoes and just scraping sounds in it, stuff that sounds like it's going backwards, breathing, dub, echoes. It is this right here, Massive Attack versus Mad Professor. Mad Professor has taken their album No Protection, turned it into No Protection, and it's this right here, Massive Attack versus Mad Professor. You want something for kicking back on a beanbag chair with lava lamps, dim lights, and absolute ultimate psychedelic chill. It's going to be this one. Now, my friend that I mentioned to you that had that store in San Francisco, we're kicking back in the store about 2 o'clock in the morning. The front door's open. All the dim lights are going. And he said, whatever they're on, I want a case of it. Whatever he was referring to, I don't know. But you've got to get this. If you get those Massive Attack albums, you got to get this one here. Massive Attack versus Mad Professor. He has taken Protection and twisted it up into something absolutely stunning and fierce, okay? Now, the other Massive Attack album, Mezzanine, he has also done on this one. Massive Attack vs. Mad Professor Part 2. So he has taken Mezzanine and twisted it up into what he did on this to this. So what we have here is Protection turned into that, and Mezzanine turned into this. You like Mezzanine? Take a listen to this. All of the tracks are on YouTube. So look up Massive Attack versus Mad Professor Part 2. Look for the pink vinyl. And get caught up with all of this, man. I'm trying to show you things here. I've been around for a long time, been collecting since 1982. And I have no intention on ever stopping. That's the problem with record collecting. Do we ever stop? There's never enough. Because even if we have everything, there's new stuff coming out. So subscribe to my channel, and I will get future videos out to you. Hit the notifications bell so you get notified when those videos are done. And I'd like to hear from you. Thank you for watching and enduring my words and my voice for 34 minutes now. But I thank you for watching. Oh, and another buddy of mine has a YouTube channel as well. It is Classic Jams. I always like to refer you to his channel too. It's one word, Classic Jams, starts with a K. You like my stuff? Check him out. It's almost like the stuff I have, he doesn't. The stuff that he has, I don't. And he has a lot more electro, breakdance stuff too that I lost a lot of back in the 80s. He has a lot of that stuff. So check him out too. I'll even put a link in my description. So thank you for watching. We are now at 35 minutes.